Okay, can everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
So I'm Stephen DeLorme. I'm here with Brian from my team as well as Nick. Um, I'm going to kind of lead this demo here, but Brian and Nick, if you guys have comments you want to make, jump in at any point, please do so. Yeah, our project is called Arion, and the basic kind of idea is that parking your vehicle can be kind of a frustrating experience, probably in any city, but particularly for us in Atlanta. Um, and sometimes there's parking lots available. Sometimes you got to go and get some street parking and all that, and pay a meter. And if they do have an app, you have to log in or type in your credit card. And if there's a kiosk, it's probably buggy. And if there is a bug, everybody's had a bad experience with the parking mercenaries, and you get overcharged, or you get your vehicle booted, or maybe impounded, or something like that. So we saw this as a kind of a problem in the real world and tried to think about how to solve that. So breaking down that problem is that you got friction during the parking payment process, which slows users down from getting to local businesses. And then also, when you have frustration with the parking mercs or the technology that they're using to park, that, kind of just creates a general bad vibe. Ideally, you want your city to be this really frictionless, easy place to go hang out and spend your money. I'm kind of thinking from the perspective of how you pitch this to, a city planner or somebody running a commercial parking lot. So our solution was Arion. You don't need any kiosk. You can pay directly from your phone. The user is going to receive notifications if the parking time is going to expire, and they can re-up the notifications remotely just from their phone. So this is supposed to be an app that's on the user side. But really the most important thing about this is that it's a lightning fast checkout experience, and that's thanks to Bitcoin. So the way that this would start out is the user goes, let's say they parallel park their vehicle on the curb, and they find this QR code on the curb. So they would scan this. So this is a real QR code. And just for the sake of brevity here, I'm not going to actually whip out a phone. I'm just going to go to a browser tab. But it would essentially take you someplace like here, which is arionparking.tech. And when the user scans the QR code, there would actually be like a unique identifier up here in the web address that makes an API call, pulls the parking spot details, all of that. Okay, so that's where we're parking our car. So I tap step one. I can now increment the timer and all of that. Say I think I'm going to be this side of town for 3 hours. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the next step. I'm going to enter my phone number. And this is going to be so I can receive a receipt and get notifications about top-ups. In some kind of future real-world deployment, you could potentially scan a photo of the license plate to make it even more frictionless on the user. But for now, we're just going to type in our license plate number. C 1234. Okay. And now we're at the checkout screen. So this thing has generated a real Lightning invoice. So let me just copy that real quick. And I am going to whip out, I would whip out Breeze, but I don't think I have enough sats in that wallet. So let's just go to Phoenix for now, because that's all loaded up. Okay. Got my thing out here. Got to paste it from my clipboard, and got a pending Lightning payment. There we go. Okay. So that was a mainnet Lightning transaction right there. And then we just, once this Lightning transaction goes through, we can, mark in the database that this parking has been paid for. User can submit feedback, all that kind of stuff. Got this kind of idea mocked up where, again, the user can get notifications when their parking is about to expire, and get a top up on that. Also, you could think of them from the enforcer point of view. There's ways to make that more easier too. Making it so that the enforcer could be kind of like a gig economy worker, and then they go and they select the parking lot that they want to enforce, and gives us some details on it. They decide to take the job, and then they go through and they mark the spots that are parked and are vacant, and it could compare that against what's in the database, and then pay the parking lot attendant in Bitcoin as well. If you I think this would be a good place to just kind of segue very, very briefly into our tech stack. And Brian, you worked really hard on a lot of this, and if you want to chime in here at any point, let me know. But like I said, basically the user is going to scan the QR on the curb. We have a Firestore database in the cloud, so that's where the UUID is able to get the parking details from. Then once those details are returned back, we've got a React front end. They go through, fill out the form. We have an API call from there that fetches a new Lightning invoice from OpenNode. User pays that invoice using whatever Lightning wallet they want. It's just a Bolt 11 invoice. BIP21 in the future, though. We do some polling in the browser to check and see if the invoice is paid or not, and then we can mark the parking spot as occupied in the database. And if you'd like to see all the work that's been done on there, you can go check out our GitHub page. There is a front end code here and then back end code there, and you can see everything that we've been working on. Also got some kind of future issues open here for like, you know, kind of feature requests. I think it'd be cool to stream sats so that you're not overpaying for parking. You're just streaming sats while the car is there parked. Had some ideas about, you know, having a collateralized payment in case of violations. If it have to explore if that makes the process more efficient. Maybe use a login with LNURL off for frequent visitors, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of ways that we could potentially expand that idea. Just quick, some shout outs to the team. Like I said, Brian's on the call here. This was his original idea, I guess, when he had a bad parking experience the other day. He is the back end badass who, you know, did a lot of our API work. Nick here on the call learned Figma over the weekend and built out a lot of artwork. He did the horse stuff. He did the, I think we got some cross chatter back in the background there. I'm not sure if somebody could mute, please. But Nick did the enforcer view and the logo. Alex Lewin also helped up with the back end. James Harris did UX research on how to best present the user with the QR code. Jordan Brookman did front end, and I did some design and front end dev for this. So that's pretty much our project right there. And yeah, had a lot of fun working on it.
Question, Stefan, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Love the project, by the way. Wonderful work. For the Bolt 11 invoice, did you consider other options, LNURL Pay, for example?
Yeah, I think you know, there's a lot of valid ways to approach this. One thing we did approach was, again, like using LNURL for, you know, doing streaming sats. And we ran into some issues with, you know, wondering if the user's phone needed to be online. But we definitely did consider some other options. I think ultimately we went with the Bolt 11 because it was what we were most familiar with and felt we could accomplish on a short period of time. But I think definitely for the auth component of it, LNURL would play a big part in that.
I'm asking because of the polling, the fact that you need to poll in order to understand that the invoice has been paid. Maybe LNURL Pay can provide you with a solution that you don't need to.
Yeah, so you're saying I need to go read the LNURL spec a little closer, is what you're saying? Maybe there's some more flexibility there. Makes sense. Thank you.
There's a LUD20 which can send a webhook back. You can specify a webhook, but it's not been implemented everywhere. It's being discussed currently in the protocol.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be real handy.
Yeah.
No more set interval, use effect, set interval.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. Yeah, go check out the PR, I think, in the LNURL protocol repo and have a little look through it. LUD20. It's good.